Hey guys, Horrorman back for another review. So today we're going to take a look at the MAFEX Batman Begins suit action figure. Now this is part of the ongoing Dark Knight Trilogy line from MAFEX, and you can see it comes in very similar packaging that all the other ones have come in. Just taking a look at that packaging, got the Dark Knight Trilogy logo at the top, MAFEX number 49, and then you see this really cool artwork of Batman from Batman Begins. Then onto the bottom, you can see a cool little shot, different pose of Batman here holding the Batarang. Batman Begins suit action figure, got the Medicom toy and DC Comics logo. And then onto the side, you got him again in a really cool action pose. It says MAFEX at the bottom, Dark Knight Trilogy at the top. On the top here, you got another pose. Same one on the side. Bunch of gibberish on the bottom. A couple different warnings. And then over to the back, you got some really cool pictures, just kind of highlighting different accessories and some of the interchangeable parts. More logos at the bottom. Distributed by Diamond Comic Distributors. Medicom toy. As you made it. So it looks to be a pretty cool looking figure. I've got a few different Batman figures made by MAFEX, so we'll do some comparisons later. But let's go ahead and get this out of the box and get a closer look. So to get this out of here, you're just gonna cut the tape, which I've already done. Open the top here. Slide out the tray. And then just like all the other figures, and really a lot of import figures these days, they really don't use twisty ties and things like that. So you really just have to lift off the top of this clamshell here. And then the figure itself, like all the accessories are real loose, so they're just going to fall right out. And they also use these little plastic pieces, so you could just go ahead and just easily lift the figure right out of the box. Alright, so here he is outside of the packaging. And as you can see, he has a very large cape. And it does flow pretty well, flows nicely in the back and off to the sides. Now there is a little bit of like a little wire on the outside of the cape on both sides, so you are able to do a little bit of like, I guess, poses with the cape. But there's some good things and bad things about that wire, and we'll get to those in a little bit. But let's go ahead and take a nice close-up of that head sculpt. Alright, so the head sculpt looks pretty good on here. You can see they are still using that like scan technology to do a little bit better sculpting with the faces, and I think for the most part it's benefited this Batman Begins figure, at least with this mask sculpt. And I liked how they did the eyes there. They came out pretty nice. He's got that Christian Bale mouth. Now he was younger in Batman Begins. The movie was in 2005 compared to Dark Knight Rises, which was in 2012, so there's, you know, a bit of year difference between them. So this is the youngest he was in the Batman suit, of course. And he does have some movement with the head. Now, one thing about the head sculpt is the cowl. It does have a split here. This is actually a softer material, more pliable plastic, and then this is a harder plastic. But it doesn't like, it's not in separate pieces as in terms of you being able to, you know, pop the head off with the neck as a separate piece. It's just made in two separate pieces. So this overall, when you take this head off, it all is one piece. They did that so you can get a little bit more articulation within the head. But to be honest with you, it doesn't seem to really move that much. So I don't think they really needed to do that. I almost would have preferred this just being no seam with just one piece, like the NECA one was. But overall, it's really not too bad. I think it's a lot better than other attempts that I've seen from like Mattel. Now in total, you get two different head sculpts. You're going to get the regular masked head, and then you're also going to get the Christian Bale unmasked head. And I think they've done a decent job on a young Christian Bale head sculpt. Doesn't look exact though. I think they could have done just a little bit better job. But as you can see, this actually is in two separate pieces. You have the neck piece then you have the head piece. But interchanging this isn't too bad. I've seen some people say it's a little tough, but to be honest with you, I didn't think it was really that tough to interchange it. But yeah, like I said, this is all one piece here, and you can see how this is a softer material on the neck, whereas the head is a much harder plastic. And then to interchange this, you're just going to go ahead and put this here. All right, so changing the head isn't the easiest thing to do, and it's mainly because of the neck. Having that neck joint as a separate piece makes it just a little hard to like get it in there. But it is much better quality than the original MAFEX figures. I remember the MAFEX 2.0. As soon as I went to change the head, the neck peg broke. So this is definitely better quality. And like I said, I mean, it's a decent likeness. I can't say it's like 100% Christian Bale, but it is cool to at least get that interchangeable head sculpt. Now, if you have the MAFEX 2.0, they also made a Christian Bale unmasked head sculpt, and I actually think the paint on this one is a little bit better. So if you want, you can pop off that head sculpt on the new one, leave the neck peg, and then you can actually pop that old head sculpt on here and use that instead if you like that head sculpt better. And to be honest with you, I kind of like the original MAFEX 2.0 head sculpt a lot better. Now the neck itself doesn't really match too well, but I mean at first glance, it's not that bad. But I think I'm going to leave this original head sculpt on here. So just looking at the details of the rest of the Batman Begins figure, it's very well done. I like the matte black that's on the body here. It's definitely nice, especially if you're doing pictures. Any of those shiny black suits can be really hard to shoot. But yeah, overall I think it looks really nice. Now the actual belt is a loose piece, and that's going to be something that they're going to do later. I think they're going to do an interchangeable belt here. But yeah, you can see the actual sculpting detail on that armor is really nice. Even all the way to the back, you have all the different sculpting details. You can see the different details on the belt. I really like this little bat. I think this is like some kind of communicator. Can't exactly remember what that is, but really nicely done. I like that it's painted a different color. And then the gauntlets here. See, he's got the cool little armored gauntlets, and then the legs, got the bat butt, but just really nice, like kind of smooth leather type of look to everything, like the boots. So pretty nice. Got some treads on the boots. It would be nice if MAFEX would put peg holes in the feet. I don't understand why they don't do that. But yeah, overall I really like the details in this Batman Begins figure. Now the one thing about this figure that I'm not 100% on is the cape. Now the cape has some really cool things. I mean, it's really big. You could spread it out nice and far or have it flow behind him pretty well. But the one thing you can't do is you really can't get that pose too well where you put the cape like over the arms, kind of like in the movie. When you can't really see his body, you just have the cape covering it. And you can kind of do it, but it's really not as nice as I've seen like the NECA one, and it's mainly because of the wire. You can see how it kind of gets bunched up right here. So it just doesn't really cover. But the one thing I really do like about it is you can see it has all the different scalloping at the bottom of the cape. And if you really wanted to, you could probably get this to where it's like in a nice flight or extended pose with that cape. And both sides are like that. But if you really wanted to, you could probably hang him up like kind of flying with the cape extended. Now the wire itself won't keep that, that pose. It only goes about straight out. But it is cool that you can get that big wingspan off that cape. And then also if you wanted to, you can kind of bend the wire a little bit and just kind of have the cape just kind of flowing behind him, just like that. Now, just like all the other MAFEX figures, you get some really good articulation with this figure, and it's no doubt one of the things people absolutely love about it. So you can turn the head a decent amount. He can look down a little bit and kind of look just straight forward. Now, like I said, this is a different material in the lower part of the neck. So if you really work these joints, you might be able to get him to move a little bit more. But I'm having a little bit of trouble getting it to do that. The arms can go pretty much all the way out, all the way down, up, back. There's a bicep swivel here. You have the double jointed elbows. You got a little bit of, there's no rotation at the gauntlet here, but of course the wrist can move. You got, you know, up and down, twist around. You do have a diaphragm joint here. Go back, forward, move to the side, get a little bit of twisting. And then he also has a waist swivel. And then you got an ab crunch here. So you could really move a lot. And this, like I said, this belt moves, so it's not going to be in your way. You can't really do much of a split as far as you can go. Go out pretty far. Double joint at the knee. You can swivel the thigh. No boot articulation at the top here, but you can go up and down with the ankle. You got a little bit of a pivot. Yeah, you got a good pivot actually. Toe articulation, which is cool. Yeah, there's plenty of rotation on that foot. So pretty solid articulation all around. Okay, so you do get some different accessories with the figure. You're going to get, on the left, you're going to get the hands basically for holding the little batarangs. Then you're also going to get the kind of relaxed hands, which are in the middle here. And then you'll also get these gripping hands, which are on the right. And you can see you get a left and right hand for the gripping. So pretty decent, you know, hand sculpts all around. And then you also get his grapnel gun, which is a one-piece construction, it looks like. Got some cool little paint on here. So pretty well detailed. Got the little handle here, I like the little gold accents. And then of course, like I said, you get these batarang hands to hold these tiny little batarangs. I mean, they are really small. You get 3 of those in case you lose a couple on the carpet or something. And then the last piece, you get this interchangeable chest piece, which I'll show you how to work in a minute here. And then you can see there's little magnets on the back, so it looks pretty cool. So decent accessories all around. And the actual hands have a pretty good pliable like plastic to them, so you can get the trigger finger in here pretty decently. So if you want them to hold the grapnel gun, should be no issues with that. Interchanging the hands on here is fairly simple. You just have to pop the little hand off here and you just have that straight peg. Now I do usually recommend to put the actual like gun in the hand before you interchange it. And then you just have to find where that little hole is in the hand and then just line it up with that little peg, and then it should go in there fairly simple. You don't have to push real hard or anything. And I like that double hinged elbow articulation because you could really get some cool poses with that grapnel gun. And then if you want to hold the batarang, you just want to change the hand to the slightly gripping hand that we saw already. And then you just change that and you can put the batarang right in there. But like I said, you want to be careful with these batarangs. They're so small and they fit decently, but they will fall out. So just be careful with those. Now, in order to put this interchangeable chest plate on here, you're going to have to remove the head sculpt. So just go ahead and take that head sculpt off. And then also what you're going to do is kind of get a fingernail underneath this little chest piece here. And then it's just going to magnetize. You see it's just like a couple magnets that hold this on. So you just go ahead and take that off. And then you can see on here how like there's little sharp points at the top. And then you just kind of match these up. And it's a pretty simple piece to go on there. It really doesn't take much to pop in, so it's already on there. And this piece is actually going to be something that you'll use with the unmasked head sculpt. That interchangeable head sculpt neck piece back on, you can see that you have kind of like this Proto suit version of the Batman Begins suit. Now if you've seen the movie, before he actually gets wears the cape and cowl, he does have this piece here. He kind of spray paints and does some different work to the suit to kind of give it that Batman look. Now again, this is the original MAFEX 2.0 head sculpt. It's not the new head sculpt, this guy here. So yeah, like I said, I am using this head sculpt instead. But it looks pretty cool in here. And they are going to release a Bruce Wayne figure down the line next year, I believe. And that's going to come with pieces to actually finish the Proto suit. So it's going to come with a different masked head sculpt and a harness piece. Now, if you remember the old Mattel figures that they did with the Movie Masters line, they actually did make a Proto suit, Bruce Wayne, from Batman Begins. So you can see how there's like a harness piece that goes on here, and then it's a slightly different belt. So that's what this new MAFEX one's going to come with. And then the old one also came with a little removable mask. Now, if you have that old Mattel figure, the removable mask kind of fits on this MAFEX version. It looks a little silly. The rubber, I don't know, it does stretch around and it does kind of fit. It's a little small. But yeah, if you wanted to add that mask, you could. If you buy the Scarecrow from Batman Begins, which is a figure coming out really soon, they're actually going to throw in an interchangeable Bat Demon head sculpt, which is what Scarecrow sees after Batman, basically turns the tables on Scarecrow and sprays the toxin in his face. Scarecrow actually sees the Bat Demon, and you'll also get a tattered cape with that. So, and I believe like a different chest piece, which will have the cape attached. So that will come with the Scarecrow. So if you do get this figure, you'll actually have even more accessories to put on this if you get the Scarecrow. Alright, so for the first comparison, here is the MAFEX Batman Begins next to the Mattel Batman Begins. And for your MAFEX Batman's comparison, here is the Batman Begins next to the Dark Knight Rises 2.0. And for the last MAFEX Batman comparison, here's the Batman Begins next to the original Dark Knight Rises Catwoman and the fairly new Dark Knight Rises Bane. And here he is next to the SH Figuarts Dark Knight Rises Batman. And for the last Mattel comparison, here is the MAFEX Batman next to the Alfred figure and the Commissioner Gordon figure, both from the original Movie Masters line from Dark Knight Rises. And here's a comparison I've been waiting for. Here is the MAFEX Batman Begins next to the NECA Toys Batman Begins. And to be honest with you, even though that MAFEX figure is a lot more expensive than the NECA one, I still think I like this NECA one better. I just really like the sculpting here, and I love the cape, and this is what I was kind of talking about, how the cape can kind of rest over the shoulders like that. And for me, where NECA really edges the MAFEX figure is that head sculpt. If you look at the mouth of the Batman figure for the NECA Toys version, that face sculpt is just so good, and I mean, it really looks like Christian Bale. So when you look at the MAFEX one, I mean, it's a decent head sculpt, but when you compare it to the NECA one just looks like a real person, whereas the MAFEX one still kind of looks like, either a generic person or just not as much like Christian Bale. And here he is next to the '89 Michael Keaton Batman, also made by NECA Toys. And you can see they just don't scale together, but they still look really cool. And for the final comparison, here he is next to the NECA Toys Dark Knight Joker figure, played by Heath Ledger. Alright, so that's my review of the Batman Begins MAFEX figure. And overall, I'm actually very happy with this figure. Originally, when I saw the figure, I was pretty much going to buy it anyway, but when I saw that $80, $90 price tag, I just couldn't pull the trigger. So I waited a while, waited even longer, and then finally I got a good price on them. If you could find this figure for $40, $50, buy it. Buy it as soon as you can. Don't, get the money out of your pocket as quick as you can think. Now, watch out for knockoffs. Comic shops and specialty stores, they're going to have the real ones because Diamond definitely distributes these. And they might have deals coming up on these soon, so be on the lookout for that. Now, I've seen some on Amazon going for $40, $50, but I don't know, I've seen a lot of knockoffs come from there, so just be really careful because you could get a really crappy version. But yeah, like I said, I mean, overall it's a really cool figure. I am glad I waited to try to get that better price. If I had anything bad to say about it, I do wish the cowl was just one piece. You know, the whole seam in the cowl, it wasn't really necessary. It didn't give the articulation that they were kind of planning for. And then the only other real complaint I have is with that cape. I do wish it kind of flowed better in the front. And then actually, I guess I do have one more complaint. It's about the color on that head sculpt. It just come out just a little bit too yellow. But like I said, if you got that MAFEX 2.0 Batman, and you know, you can interchange that original head, and I think it looks, you know, way better. So if you've got that, I would definitely recommend swapping that head out. But yeah, overall, like I said, I'm really happy with the figure. I think they've done a pretty good job with it. And it's honestly better than I thought it was going to be. From some of the pictures I saw, I really was debating on getting it. But it's a Batman Begins figure. It's one of my favorite Batman movies. I love the costumes, so I just had to have it. So thanks for watching my review. Please subscribe, leave a comment or question if you have one. Please like the video. And until next time, guys, see ya!